goodness, welcome back. If you've been here for a minute, you know that I had Melfi Mania Psychosis, but at the same time, I was also learning Blitzclique. Blitzclique was the deck that I chose to build out of Chaos Origins because heaven help me, I can't follow the meta and build Rolad. And if you've been here since then, you know that I have been struggle bussing with Blitzclique. If you watched my Taking Blitzclique to Locals video, you know I got absolutely wrecked. I was not having a blasty blast with pure Blitzclique, so I built Blitzclique Ryzeal. I will share the deck list in this video, but I also want to show you an example game because I realized it is not fun to play it into Rolad. I haven't figured out how to play it into Rolad, but I played it against my boyfriend who played Elfnotes. Elfnotes is the deck he went undefeated with at our Chaos Origin premiere event, our 5 rounds. He won a box, he won a mat. He's been playing that deck. He's really good at Elfnotes. And I beat him with Blitzclique Ryzeal. I did win the dice roll. That's for a separate conversation because the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dice roll has been making my heart sad lately. But yeah, let's look at the deck list that I built. I can't take credit for this idea. I heard it came from the OCG. I was on the YouTubes and I saw some videos of Blitzclique Ryzeal and I kind of pieced together and made my deck list. And let's review this game where, dare I say, Blitzclique is good against decks like Elfnote. Okay, so let's go over my Blitzclique Ryzeal deck. First, I am running different ratios than I have seen other people running, and my logic for this is so much of the Blitzclique stuff is searchable, and I feel like if you open a hand of just all Blitzclique stuff without anything to pop, especially if you're going first, it is not the best. So I am playing 2 Daddy Whiskers, 3 Surges, only 2 Crackles, 2 Grains, and 1 Emmy. So a lot of the lists that I have seen online are running 3 of everything. I personally feel like that space is better used for Ryzeal stuff / more hand traps instead of just going like full breaker. Other parts of the Blitzclique, I guess, engine is I'm only running 2 breakaways. I feel like running 2 breakaways is perfectly fine because it adds itself back. Like if it is engrave and something is popped by a Blitzclique effect, you're going to get this back. So running 2, also as an opener, it is only a good opener if you are able to alternator, meaning you already have a Blitzclique name in hand. So I'm running 1 alternator, 1 return stroke. I am considering running 2 alternators for the banish to search effect, and then 3 hideout in Kalooms. So the Blitzclique portion of this deck is approximately what, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 cards is Blitzclique. So let me go ahead and figure out how to move this so you can still see them. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the Ryzeal portion and then everything else, all the hand traps and such. So the Ryzeal portion, 1 Bonfire. This is EXT. And if you're like, man, Ext looks different than I remember, it's because I don't own one yet. It's coming in the mail. It's coming in the mail. For now, this upside down card is EXT. 2 Ice, 2 Sword, and 2 7th Tachyon. 7th Tachyon can also be used to search Surge. I would run 3. I only own 2. I am getting 3. I'm ordering. I ordered more. I will eventually have 3, but I actually think running 2 so far has felt fine. Granted, I have not put a lot of time on this deck, so can't say for certain. So the Ryzeal portion is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 cards. So that puts us at, what did I say? Let me count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 25. So this is a 40 card deck. So 25 is Blitzclique Ryzeal, and then here is the rest. I am running 1 Thunder King Raiho. I am maining Droll, 2 Drolls, 3 Perulias, 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Fallen in the Virtuous. This is a great way to proc the Blitzclique monsters because they just proc on destruction. A Terraforming, I think I would take out a Hideout to potentially add another Tachyon. because terraforming and 3 hideouts. I mean, I'm running a terraforming and then 1 called by and 1 pot of prosperity. So this list, it differs than the list that I was seeing online in the sense of my ratios. I personally felt like I was really struggling with not having the drolls, Perulias, ash blossoms, like not having the hand traps and just going like full breaker. I was running MST at one point. So this to me feels like I am going to be able to open a hand that I could either go Blitzclique, I could either go Ryzeal, and I can attempt to stop my opponent. In terms of starters, I also did not feel like any of the Blitzclique cards were like 1-card starters. I think Hideout is the most 1-card starter that we are going to have. But even then, you have to have a way to proc Surge after you search the Surge. And so having things like 7th Tachyon, having the Ryzeal engine, just gives it a little more oomph. So this is the main deck. 40 card main deck. And then let's go ahead and get into the extra deck, which on top I keep my tokens for Hideout. I have seen some people still doing Harmonia in Blitzclique. While I do think that is a valid option, I just went full Ryzeal for the extra deck, especially because Harmonia will lock you into not being able to activate monster effects except synchros. So it like completely locks you out. I personally don't feel like it's worth it. If you're going to do the Ryzeal part, I think you have to forego the Harmonia. So for the Fallen and the Virtuous, I am running 2 Albions and 1 Ecclesia. And everything else is, well, pretty much everything else is XZs. So for links, I am running 1 SP. You do get XZ locked doing the Ryzeal stuff, but 1 SP and 1 Summoner. Okay, Giant Hand is how we search Surge. It is a number, one like in between, what is it, 102 and 107 for 7th Tachyon. And it is a level 4 Earth. So I have Giant Hand to search Surge. We have Masquerade is going to allow us to search EXT. And I am not running, there is a number that is Fire, I believe, that allows you to search. But these are my 2 7 Tachyon searches. I am running Aggregator to send off of EXT. I am also running Valon is another target that can be sent to grave, and the Officiator of Doom Samuel. These are my like send to grave targets, and then everything else is stuff that I could like actually make. We have the star of the show, Ryzeal Detonator. This is mainly what I'm trying to get into, but I also have Dugaris to, I normally use this to draw. I have not made Eclipse Twins. It has been explained to me, like if you're already going to be able to make, if you're only able to make Detonator, Eclipse Twins doesn't really make sense as your like send to then attach. Normally that's why I send Aggregator. But if you're able to make another XZs, then Eclipse Twins could even be another one that you send off of EXT X to summon Typhon, of course. And then we also have Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. So this is the extra deck, including cute little tokens, 40 card main deck. I personally like how this feels much, much better than pure Blitzclique, but it is still open to messing with. I don't think it is finalized by any means. I feel like decks are really never finalized, especially as formats are changing. But yeah, this is the deck. Okay, this is 3 games of Blitzclique v Elfnote at 2 times speed, so we're not here forever. This did go to 3 games, like I said. Game 1, I chose to go first. Now, while there are conversations around, oh, Blitzclique, a going second deck, I feel like it is not so strong going second where you would choose to go second. I've had this conversation with my boyfriend about there's very few decks that have been in existence in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are like true go second decks. I decided to go first. I also feel by including the Ryzeal package, you have a way better chance. So here was my opening hand, and there was my boyfriend's opening hand. We only do this on the first game because then we forget. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with terraforming. My purpose of starting with terraforming is to try to bait out an Ash. It goes through and also bait out a Droll. I go ahead and I search Hideout in Kaloom. I am not actually going to start doing Blitzclique stuff. Something that's important to know if you're gonna do any type of Blitzclique hybrid, you know, Blitzclique, when you activate the effects in hand, so Surge, target a monster, the monster pops, use special Surge or any thunder monster from hand. You are now locked into only special summoning from hand. We want to get our Ryzeal stuff out first. We want to get Detonator on board. So the terraforming, I was doing that to try to bait out any type of ash droll situation to then kind of figure out where to go from there. Didn't get ashed. I didn't get drolled. I'm like, okay. I have my hideout now, which granted would kind of suck getting ashed on the hideout. So I'm not saying this was like the smartest move. I'm just saying that's why I did it. So I'm actually not going to start with hideout. I am going to start with normal summoning sword Ryzeal. So for sword Ryzeal, it can be special summoned if you have a Ryzeal on field or graveyard. I didn't, so I'm going to go ahead and normal summon. And on normal summon, you can add 1 light pyro from deck to hand. I am playing with not even bad printer proxies. I'm playing with cards that don't exist. So that face down Yu-Gi-Oh card, that's my EXT. It hasn't come in the mail yet. I ordered it. It hasn't come in the mail yet. I also am playing Ice Ryzeal, but at this point I'm filming, I only had 1 copy. So I used a Palm Ryzeal as the second Ice Ryzeal. That's an EXT. It's an EXT. EXT is great because it does not activate to special. It specials itself by sending a Xyz monster. I did have to look up what it did because I don't own one. I've been sending the aggregator because then I like to equip it onto the detonator, because then later when you activate detonator and you send aggregator to grave, you get the aggregator effect, which can be pretty spicy. EXT is also going to let me search. I'm going to go ahead and search a sword, and now I will special sword. I want a big old detonator. I'm trying to make daddy detonator. So at this point, I have 2 swords, and I call it EXT. Is it Ext? I don't know. EXT. Ext. I got my aggregator, and I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and make detonator. Detonator, I will attach the aggregator. So I have a detonator with 4 materials. At this point, I will activate Hideout and Kaloom. I will go ahead and special summon token to my opponent's side. So shout out to Leo for giving me this idea. And then when Leo was playing Blitzclique against my boyfriend who's playing Elfnotes, there was the conversation about, do I leave your middle zone clogged? Turns out that basically any of the main Elfnote girls can just be normal summoned by tribute summoning the token. So my original intent was to normal grain, and then I was going to pop my own hideout. Oh no, I grain, pop my own hideout. And then at this point, I am I'm using breakaway to place. It's going to happen later. I guess I could just let run the film, Marina, where I debate surging my own grain, like popping my own thing to leave the middle zone clogged. Was a learning experience. My boyfriend and I had the conversation of while in theory leaving the middle zone clogged, if he has any of the Elfnote girls in hand, he can just tribute normal summon them. So this is where we said, okay, it's better if you pop the token, because also popping the token is going to allow grain to trigger, and also Hideout in Kaloom and Blitzclique breakaway will trigger. So popping the hideout was actually fine because I got it back. I do make a little illegal play, and I search return stroke off of grain. Grain can only search spells. I'm thinking the way I would have done it is just during the draw phase, I would have gone ahead and set the return stroke, but I do end up using breakaway. So this is a tough one. I do think it definitely, that illegal play and having return stroke set impacted the game. I do think having return stroke and alternator as part of your end board is important. So I guess we just would have had a minus whatever I do with the breakaway to pop something. I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is pretty much a tell at this point because I've been learning Elfnote as well. When an Elfnote player is specialing Regina by sending Rhapsody of Madness, most Elfnote players, play 1 Rhapsody of Madness. That trap is a great negate. And the thing about Elfnote, and I think, if you're an Elfnote player, because I've been playing for like a week, let me know if you agree. I feel like when you're going second, you're not necessarily trying to go for game, but you're trying to chip apart the opponent's board and create an oppressive board state of your own where they are not able to do anything. So when the turn gets back to you, you are then able to win. If there's a super big board and you're able to go into Black Rose Dragon to just like, you know, blow everything up, that's like one option. But most of the time I feel like you're not really clearing boards and OTKing. You're just trying to like chip away at stuff and then create your own hyper oppressive board. So sending Rhapsody of Madness is not a typical thing to do. You do want to somehow get that back, and the only way to get that back, I believe, is through Janora, or there is a way in order to get the trap back to your hand. But the fact that this was sent to special, not great. So it's activating in hand, and then Regina has the on summon effect to go ahead and special summon from deck. I will chain Breakaway, and I will return one Thunder monster I control to my hand, target a card on the field, and destroy. So this is where I'm saying I would have had to use the Breakaway to do the return stroke. Let me know. Let me know the level of impact that this had, my small cheat. Once something was popped, that is going to trigger the Surge to search. It's going to trigger any of the spells I have to add themselves back. So he will special Tinia off of the Regina. Surge is going to allow me to search. I am going to search Emmy, and then Emmy will trigger, and that will pop the Tinia. So the reason I think Blitzclique does well against Elfnote, and I think this could be extrapolated to other decks, if they do not have on summon effects. Everything except Regina is a ignition effect. So by popping the Tinia, you're not going to get the welcome home at that point. I have activated a monster effect, and so he is going to Talons. I actually think he was trying to take control of my detonator, so at this point, I chain Return Stroke. Again, had I had Return Stroke out earlier if I'd used the Breakaway to set the Return Stroke, then the Regina would still be out along with the Tinia. Or he probably wouldn't have specialed the Tinia, he probably would have specialed Baby Burb. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and Terminus, send Baby Bird. He will now normal Medius. On activation of Medius, I'm going to detonate that, and he is going to chain Harmonia. I will then chain, I didn't even know I was doing anything smart at this point, y'all. I'm going to be so real with you. I will chain Detonator again. He's going to end up sending Wind Pegasus at Ignister, but Wind Pegasus will not see the detonation of Medius because, so Medius, Detonator to pop Medius. Harmonia, Detonator to pop Medius. So as the chain resolves, the detonator is going to pop the Medius before the Wind Pegasus hits the grave. We had to have a conversation about this because I was like, wait, can I target the same thing to pop with the detonator? My whole thing, the reason I wanted to chain again is I wanted to get the aggregator in grave. I did not chain it again in order to chain block the Wind Pegasus, but it did. So that was kind of cool. So detonator can also detach to save itself from getting blown up. So Harmonia was going to blow up detonator. So I go ahead and detach. And then this is where we're having the conversation about how the Wind Pegasus did not see the destruction of the Medius because as the chain was resolving, it was not in grave yet. That's how it was explained to me. I hope I have explained it to you in a okay fashion, but also who knows. Okay, at that point, he is going to scale Vodolium. Big ol' thighs on Vodolium. Wanted to point that out. On activation, I'm gonna detonate it. Detonator's so good. And it triggers all your stuff. So good. So good. What did he banish? Oh, my face is in the way. He banished. Oh, the Wind Pegasus. Why did he banish the Wind Pegasus? Something got banished. For whatever. Oh, maybe because something popped. He scoops it up, folks. He sees the writing on the wall, and I show him. I had Whiska. I had Emmy. I had Grain. I had Game. But then he gets to go first. I need to do a Let's Yap session about, like, there's stuff about Yu-Gi-Oh! That's making me deeply sad. One of it is the whole dice roll thing. So anyway, he's going to go first in game 2. I'm not trying to spoil it. We go to game 3. Tinia plays the field spell. Tinia, you're going to place Welcome Home. Leaving Welcome Home up when you're playing against Blitzclique is actually a pretty good idea because it will protect the monster in your middle zone. Just so you know, Welcome Home says that the monster in your center column zone thingamabob can't be destroyed. So Welcome Home is pretty good. to keep up against Blitzclique. He is then going to, I'm sorry, the Regina was so randomly in the wrong spot. He's going to use Baby Burb and Regina to go into Strelitzia. Regina will then trigger to add itself back to hand. Baby Burb will then trigger to search, but he's not going to do that because it's how you play against Droll. So you don't Baby Burb search, and instead use Strelitzia, the Baby Burb back, you make Crystal Wing, and now you Baby Burb search. He's going to scale Junaldo, and I asked why he wasn't going to do the draw off of the Lucina, and he said, you want a deck thin. Valid. This is why he is the expert. So then he's going to Lucina, search the Fortuna, normal Midioso. If you're wondering why I start calling him Midioso, is because I feel like he got a tan in his new tournament packs. That's Midioso, if you pull that version of him. Anyway, we're going to make the Don Dragsta, special Fortuna to place the trap. The trap is an Omni Negate if you have a Synchro. If you have a Synchro. So he will have a Synchro. Baby Burb is going to go ahead and come back. And at this point, we will Junaldo pop itself, draw 2, discard 1. I told him I tend to add back the Terminus. That's what I've been doing with playing Elfnote, because then if it gets back to my turn and I need to try to do something, like granted Terminus locks you. He goes into Omega, and my heart starts pounding, because I'm like, I'm already going to have to play into the Dawn, Spell Negate, Crystal Wing, Monster Negate, Rhapsodia, everything negate. I have 5 cards in hand. You're gonna Omega me? You're gonna know? I don't wanna be Omega'd. He ends up doing something way worse. So he goes into Excel Dragon, because he's like, let's mess around. I'm like, yeah, let's mess around. Let's have some fun. Why do Omega when you can do Excel? And then he sets a mysterious card. He passes the turn and immediately tries to Regina Tinia hand rip me, and I said no. My hand is not the worst, but there is so much to play through this board, and Crystal Wing, it's not monsters on field, so Crystal Wing is a really good answer for stuff like Surge or Grain or anything that's trying to pop. I feel like a lot of the negates have to be a monster you control. I'm going to attempt to called by Baby Burb. Someone did this to me in Omega, and if Baby Bird's effects get negated until the end of the next turn, bad. Baby Burb is the star of the show. We might think it's about the girls. It's not about the girls. Elfnote, more like Elf Baby Bird. So he's like, I don't want you to do that. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it. So he chains Don Dragsta is going to negate my called by. And I go, okay, so I have stopped the Regina hand rip. I've gone through Dawn. I'm a chain Fallen. I got to get rid of that trap. I'm going for the trap. So I train the Fallen and the Virtuous by sending Albion, and I am targeting Rhapsodia because I need to try to make him use all of this now. And I'm looking good. I'm thinking this is fine. I still have 3 cards in hand. I believe I have a Kaloom, I have a Sword, and I think maybe a Grain. And so I'm feeling decent. And then this man decides to Tinia hand rip me. It still happens. And I'm thinking they're 3 starters. They're 3 starters. Okay, you get rid of my EXT. Sorry, it wasn't a sword. You get rid of my EXT. That was bad. That was bad. But you know what? I have 2 starters. I think I have a Hideout and a Grain. And I'm like, you can't stop. I don't know if you're going to stop the Grain. And I think we're, a Hideout. Like I think we're fine. So I'm like, okay, let's Grain this. Let's target the set, I believe. And he's like, you know what would be so funny right now? You know how I didn't make Omega earlier? What if I made it when you have 1 card in hand and you've already committed? So Excel Dragon says you make Stardust, and then it's a requirement. I can't count, so I very regularly don't know how to count to make Psyframe with the Excel. So he lets the Grain go through. He's gonna hand rip me again. So, game 3, anybody? Game 3. I don't know why I was taking so long. I think I was just being like, damn, I really did have to play through 30 bajillion inner. I ashed, I fallen, I called by, I got hand ripped. The EXT I think would have been a better. But guess who's going first in game 3? And guess who is learning the disgusting truth that I don't know. There's something to going first. There is something. Sorry, had to answer a text message. There's something going first in Yu-Gi-Oh, folks, especially when they try to Perulia you and you have the Ash. Okay, Perulia is great into Blitzclique as well. I'm going to go ahead and Childish Gambino Bonfire. Right? Watching the haters. And then, sorry. I need a nap. I searched sword. I normal ice. And if you're like, Raina, that's not ice, that's palm. I know. I told you I'm using a palm as an ice because I didn't have one, and I'm using a face down card as an EXT. Times are tough out here, okay? I didn't play during Ryzeal era, and I collected all the Malice stuff and all the Ryzeal stuff. I'm going to do the 1-2 Ryzeal detonator combo again, where I just get a bunch of stuff out, send the aggregator, and just try to make big detonator, big boom. But I will be able to have enough level 4s out that I can also do another Exes. I learned an important little lesson that I think it's EXT. It's probably EXT. It's probably the one I don't have. So, of course, I didn't know this because I can't read. It might actually be sword. I just don't read. Is it sword? It is sword. You can't summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except rank 4 Exes monsters. Sorry, EXT. I talked badly on you, and it wasn't even you. It was your brother's sword. EXT might also do it. Anyway, I'm Exes locked, and I'm like, I could have detonator, SB, and then go into full Blitzclique stuff. No. Don't worry. Immediately was caught. My shenanigans were immediately told to me. They were like, you can't do that. So I make Dracaris, the Timeless. And I am going to draw 2 and then discard 1. I don't need a next draw phase. I'm going to make a board that's going to blow up everything. You're going to concede. That's the goal. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 2. I draw a Droll and a 7th Tachyon. Your girl doesn't need the 7th Tachyon at this point. Did you know, though, 7th Tachyon can get you Surge? So you reveal whatever the number one that is Earth, Big Hand. I think it's Big Hand. You reveal the Big Hand, Giant Big Hand. I don't know his legal name. I'm sorry. But 7th Tachyon can get you Surge. Have a conversation when I discard it, and my boyfriend's like, "Can't 7th Tachyon get you all of them?" And I go, "Surge is the only level 4," and he goes, "That's a lie." And I was like, Google, run the stats. Surge is the only level 4, but 7th Tachyon can get you Surge. So this is why we play both of them. I believe this was looking up, Blitzclique monsters, because he was like, Surge isn't the only level 4. And I was like, okay, proved him wrong. Took a little minute to show that I was indeed correct. And then we activate Hideout in the Clume. Hideout in the Sky, Kaloom, which is not a Blitzclique card, and that still makes me mad. I tried giving him my token, and he says he wants his token. That was signed by the guy with the glasses and the blonde hair that starts with a D. Dzeef Beef. Such a fake Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I'm so sorry. I like watching the Drama Times. I know Farfa, and people are probably gonna be like, you know Farfa, but you don't know the other 2 names? Yeah, because I don't know. Yes. He's friends with Farfa. He got his token. My boyfriend got a token signed by him one time, and that's the token he uses. And I'm going to have a ton of triggers. Grain is going to trigger to search. Breakaway is going to trigger to add. Hideout in the Sky is going to trigger to add itself back to my hand. I'm then going to breakaway in order to do alternator. I don't cheat this game, I think. But look at me. Look at this board, y'all. Blitzclique Ryzeal. Pure Blitzclique. I was really struggling because, and as I need to film the list. I'm assuming I showed you the list before. You already saw the list, right? I did that correctly. I showed before we got in the games. You saw I'm not running like full numbers because I feel like you need to have stops because Blitzclique doesn't negate, it just pops. So Emmy, I pop my own thing in order to add a bunch of stuff back. And then Alternator, I am able to add a Blitzclique spell or a hideout in Kaloom. And I don't think I need Alternator on his turn. I really think I need Return Stroke. And Breakaway is going to let me set it. So I have a hideout in Kaloom, making all my monsters more beefy than they were before. I have Breakaway, which is going to place Return Stroke, which is a spell negate. I have Drugatis. He's chilling. He's setting the vibe. He's setting the mood. I have Detonator, who is just ready and able to pop whatever you try to do. What else do I have set? It wouldn't surprise me if that's a Fallen and the Virtuous. Basically, I am ready to try to destroy anything you try to do. I feel like the end board on Blitzclique Ryzeal to me makes more sense because I did not understand the end board on just pure Blitzclique. He is going to special Lucina, effect to search. That's fine. He's going to search Power Patron, Baby Burb Power Patron, and to that I'm going to Breakaway, and I want to get rid of the Baby Burb. Did you notice what I used for the Breakaway? What I returned to hand? I returned Emmy. So Emmy will trigger the Breakaway I had, and Grave will trigger, Surge will trigger. So Emmy is going to pop that Lucina, Surge is going to search me a Crackle, and Breakaway is going to add itself back to my hand. And he's thinking. I'm pointing, I'm internally cackling. I'm toxic. So, Terminus means he won't be able to kill me because he's not going to be able to get a Power Patron big enough to stop me. And I'm going to Return Stroke it anyway. And I have a Droll in hand. Wrap it up. That's game, folks. That's the power of Ryzeal Blitzclique into literally Elfnote, because playing against Rollout is still... Oh, that Mind Shuffle card just makes me mad. So yeah, I don't know how meta competitive Blitzclique is going to be. I kind of want to take it back to locals as the Ryzeal version whenever I get the EXT, because I don't know how cool people are going to be about my face down card that I tell them is a different card. But there is a regional coming up that I would like to go to. I'm planning on going to it. Your girl has the anxieties, so I never like to make a full 100% commitment that I'm going, because, you know, I might not. But I'm planning on going, and I want to learn Elfnote. I just think Elfnote will have a better time. I like Blitzclique Ryzeal. I just don't know how good of a time it's going to have, and I'm trying to not make myself say it. I think I've said it before, where decks like Blitzclique just require a higher knowledge of what you're playing against, because you have to be you gotta be a lot more on your game about how you're interacting, where you're interacting. I feel like Elfnote is a little safer for newer players. Like, there's a lot more lines. It has a higher ceiling. You can take it to way further levels, but you can also keep it at a very base level where you're like, I'm gonna make Crystal Wing and the Dawn Dragsta, and just, I mean, that's 2 negates. That's pretty good. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you learned something. Let me know what you're playing in Chaos Origin format, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.